Welcome to the Life&Times podcast. Your host, Lloyd Phillips.
I'm Leighton Rowan.
What have you been doing, Leighton?
I've just been partying and stuff.
Yeah, the Easter party.
Celebrating Easter.
Yeah, you were doing a lot of Eastering today.
Yeah, I did so much Eastering.
Did I do Eastering? You know, it's weird. My kids are 10 and 13. And, like, not in a weird way. There's 10 and 13, and they like the tradition of Easter. So we still hid Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like we didn't do it 30 times or anything. We just hid them in the front yard. And we really just took the eggs and like gently threw them in the front yard. It wasn't like it's not like you hide them. As a matter of fact, in my Easter egg hiding life, I don't recall too many people that I think I would try to hide them like better. But really, for the most part, when you're little kids, you just throw them in the yard.
Yeah,
I think that's what they did. I don't know. Did anybody like give real effort to hide your Easter eggs?
I didn't hide any Easter eggs. The Easter Bunny did, though.
Yeah.
And the Easter Bunny actually tried to hide them.
That's right.
And growing up, yeah, we had some, like my older cousins, if they helped, if he helped, he would try to throw some people through a loop.
Yeah, thanks for being cognizant of the of all of our listeners.
Yes.
Yeah, when the Easter Bunny hid those eggs out in the front yard, I think he just threw them all over the place.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah.
But anyway, they still run out there and did it, and they're really just trying to beat each other.
Oh,
like see who has the most eggs.
Yeah, your daughters are competitive with each other.
I mean, that's all they do. Yeah, I know, but I get tired of this whole sister fighting thing. Like they're both really nice people to the world, but they're not always to each other. But it's just like stupid stuff. They fight about dumb stuff. Yeah, but like I have a brother, and when we were kids, this is the best way to relate it to. When I was a senior, he was a freshman. So yeah, I could say 3 years, but I'm saying like we were in the same school a couple times. Anyway, but he didn't play sports either. So it wasn't like there was that kind of competitive thing. He's really funny, still is really funny. We didn't fight like that.
Yeah, me and my brother, we're 6 years apart. We didn't fight at all.
I mean, I'm not saying we probably didn't argue maybe like here or there, but we just wasn't a thing that we did. There was nothing to. When I was playing football and basketball, when I thought I was Michael Jordan and whoever I thought was in football when I was a kid, just in the front yard playing with my friends, he never played with us. He was playing cops and robbers.
Yeah,
with the across the street girls. Yeah, the Go-Forths. Yeah, they were hardcore cops and robbering every day.
That's awesome.
That's what they would do. Like we were out there thinking we were Hall of Famers in our minds, and he played cops and robbers. Anyway, so like my kids, they just fight and argue, and I felt bad because the oldest one, I'm like, hey, just go get a hobby or whatever. I'm not saying she doesn't have one. I mean, she plays sports, and she's a pretty athletic kid. But I'm always, I want her to get into something so I can get into it with her.
Yeah,
I mean that's the honest truth. Like I want her to get into whatever it is so I can help it out. If I got to buy something or I got to encourage or whatever. But usually I'm like, hey, go do this or try this. I try to get her fired up about whatever. And then usually she just wants to watch TikTok.
Yeah. She's a professional TikTok watcher.
She is. And she's good at that. Yeah. She's actually super good at that. Yeah. I don't want to get behind that though.
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't care if you're making TikToks. That's fine because you're doing something. But just watching everything that everybody else made, but you're not making them? No, I don't like that.
I know what she needs to do.
Well, what's that? Anyway, so she started braiding hair.
Oh, hair. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whose present it was. It could have been hers. Could have been my youngest daughter's. But basically, it's a head. It only bothered me one time. Like one time I walked in the room and like just a split second jumped because maybe they got it for Christmas, but it is a head that has real hair on it. And then you like attach it to the bottom of a desk, by turning the crank there, and it tightens up on the desk.
Alyssa had one of those for cosmetology school.
Yeah, Anyway, nobody wanted to go to cosmetology school at our house, But somebody wanted that head, I guess, to practice braiding or whatever. So it took about a year, but I saw my daughter in there, the oldest one. She's like trying to braid. And so she's like, Bella, younger, talking to her younger sister. It's like, Bella, will you come over here so I can, I can braid the hair? And she's like, no. But she says no because Avery's always rude to her. So now they're fighting back and forth all day long, and Bella won't let her braid her hair. But then they argue. They just argue. It's like nonstop. And I've said on here before, but it was usually with parenting, where if a kid says something like, I don't want to do that, and then like my wife is going, but you have to do that. You have to do it. You've heard me say that. That high pitch talk, I can't deal with it.
Yeah. And
that's all they do all day long. And so then, because they're not talking to me, right? They're not back talking to me. But when I'd had enough, and I get in there and I'm like, what's your problem? You're right. And I talk like that, and then they get their feelings hurt because I yelled at them. It wasn't like it was. I wasn't in their beef,
Yeah.
So they get their feelings hurt that I inserted myself in their beef. But I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, stop talking.
Yeah.
That's what happens at my house. And people were like, well, siblings fight or whatever. I'm just saying, you just said you and your brother did it. I don't recall myself and my brother did. The only time, I'll tell this story just because I'm talking 100 miles an hour. The only time in my life that my brother thought his world almost ended was we were beyond that. And I'm not saying he's not. These days he's a marshal, and which is really awesome, and he does really good for himself, and all that's cool. I'm just saying, as an older brother, this is more of a sibling thing here. In his professional world, this was probably 15 years ago. He had to go take a class to use the taser. I think I'm saying this right because I don't think he had the taser, or he just got out of cleat or whatever it was. And so I was sitting on the couches at Mom and Dad's house. I'm just saying, this is the only time in his life that it almost didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was that much older, and we didn't fight like that. And he was pointing that taser at me, and it has a laser on it. And so he's like pointing it at me, and I'm like, stop. And he's like, he didn't say anything at first, but he saw that I started getting irritated. I told him a second. I was like, stop pointing that thing at me. I'm not going to tell you again to stop. And when I said that, he's like, I'm just playing. It's not even loaded. That's what he said. And so he had it right on, like on my temple. I could see it shining. And when he said, I'm just playing, it's not even loaded. And he turned it over maybe 6 inches like away from me. So there was a red dot on the wall that was beside me, and he squeezed the trigger. It was loaded, and it shot those prongs into the wall, and those wires raced by my face. And when I saw those wires like shoot by my face, when I turned around, my mom's like, no. and his face was like, I didn't mean to. I didn't know. Because I'm like, it was a special moment. That was the only time that my brother really about caught the wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in our whole lives. So like kid stuff, it was nothing at all. Now, I wasn't happy the other day. I'm just going to tell the world. I'll just tell them. I don't want car payments anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. So I bought this vehicle. And, and so I bought it used. And I feel like, I got scammed a little at the dealership. I didn't go open the trunk. You should open all the doors and roll all the windows up and down. That's a thing that you should actually do if you're buying a used vehicle. I did it.
And back up. Roll the windows back up because I purchased my vehicle. They roll down fine, but when I roll it back up, it goes halfway up, back down, and then up. Just saying.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly where I'm going, but I didn't know, but I'm going to get there.
Yes.
So when I bought it, I didn't do that. So I found out the very first day, and I saw a button that the back window would roll down. I didn't know that was a thing for Sequoia. Mm-hmm. I was excited because I like that. Whole back window goes down. I don't have a Jeep. Top doesn't come off, but all the windows go down. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, it rolled down and it wouldn't go back up. Like it don't work. So I took it to my mechanic buddy. He fixed it. Rolls itself back up. I haven't touched it since. I also found out that day the tailgate didn't work at all. The latch did not work.
Perfect.
That I probably rambled a little more just to get to the story. So now you fast forward. I've had the thing like a year. That's because the same friend, I'm going to bust him out right here, week one, I buy the vehicle. I'm like, hey, this thing's not working. I said, can you order the part to fix it? He's like, yeah, the window will probably work if the latch fixes itself. Because the latch wouldn't latch. You would just open and shut. Like, so you'd drive down the road and the rear gate would just be open. It would fly open if you hit a bump. So he ordered it, and for 5 months, I was waiting for this part to come in. 5 months. And I'll call him and like, hey, Jerry, is that part almost in? He's like, yeah, man, it should be here anytime. This is 5 months. Like 5 months. So I used to call at first, for the first month, I called him every week. I'm like, is it in? Because it's supposed to be there in 7 days, according to him. And no. And so month 2, I waited 2 weeks because I'm like, is it in yet? Or he's like, because of COVID. It wasn't even COVID anymore because we only had like a year, maybe a year and a half. And he's like, COVID, it slowed a lot of things down. He's like, can't get that part, man. And so I'm like, okay. So like now we're into like 3 months. I'm like, is a part coming or whatever? And so then like maybe month 4, I didn't call him. And I just went down there month 5. I was like, Jerry, is the part coming in or not? There's no way it takes 5 months. And he's like, let me check, man. He's like, I don't know. Let me get with my wife. So, because according to him, his wife is the only one that orders on Amazon. He doesn't have an account. So he gets with his wife 5 months, and he said, he called me. He's like, hey, Lloyd, she's not seeing that she ever ordered that.
Oh my gosh.
Right. But remember, the part I left out in this story, if you shut it like 400 times, it'll eventually catch and it would latch. So we didn't touch it after that. Point is, I've had the thing a year. I didn't buy the part myself. I was waiting on him. Fast forward, at least half that. The other half of the year is my fault. I order the part, comes in, order the wrong one, right? I got the wrong part. So now my hatch does not close. It's totally rusted out. You can't close the hatch. And so remember, I ordered a part, and there also was a chair in my back seat. I'm crossing the highway. I'm very long-winded. I crossed the highway. I hit a bump. Something flies out.
Because the hatch opened up.
Yeah, because the hatch opened up and things flew out of the back. Yeah. And the girls they started laughing because my hatch flew up, and they're like, I think something fell out. But I'm trying to get them to soccer practice. Like, we're gonna be there on time, but if I don't get there, we're late. Like right then. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody's riding me, and I pull into the church. She's like, hey, you had some stuff fall out. So I said, okay. So I U-turn. I go back to the highway. I see it. I always buy those fancy chairs, like those fancy fold-up chairs.
Because you're a fancy person.
Well, but I like them because they're portable and they're tiny, but then you unravel the thing, and it's like a nice chair. So as I get closer, I see that it's my chair, and then I see it's that part that didn't work, but I need to send it back because it didn't work. I pull up in the grass at the stoplight. I don't even get in the line. And this is on a highway. This is Highway 66 for the rest of the world. Famous Route 66. Yeah. And so I walk out first to the middle to get that first or whatever. And my chair, because it was on the way. But there's somebody at the stoplight. Their wheels were not even in the path of my chair. Their light turned green, and they veered over and ran over my chair.
What?
Yep, as I'm getting out. And why did I tell the story? Because the level of fury that my brother almost had.
Oh, the same fury?
That was, yeah. Yeah, yep. And so I walk, because now they're driving across the highway. So the actual highway traffic, they're stopped at the stoplight. But I just walk out in the middle of the intersection to grab the other part because it's mine. I pick it up. Somebody had hit that already.
Oh, my gosh.
So now my chair smashed, and the part that didn't work, now I can't send it back. It's smashed.
Yeah.
I don't. Why? Oh, just because I was mad. Yeah, and so the girl said they recorded it. So I tried to play it back. I was trying to find the person, like the car.
Yeah.
And as mad as I was the other day, I have no idea what that car looked like.
Oh, really?
No clue. I was so mad when they ran over my chair, and I'm like, whatever's going through my head. And they drove on, and they're like, yeah, we recorded it. Couldn't see what the car was. Couldn't see the license plate, and I just had to.
Just take it.
Yeah, I was so mad.
Yeah.
And they were 20 minutes late to soccer.
So did you ever get your hatch fixed?
Huh?
Did you get the hatch fixed?
Yeah.
Oh, you did get it fixed.
Oh, yeah, I did it myself. I did it myself the other day.
With some zip ties or something?
The problem is, listen, I skipped part of that story.
Yeah.
The reason that it flew, okay, when I had ordered the wrong part, I got zip ties and zip tied it shut until the new part came in. middle of the week, I'm gone in Pittsburgh. My wife calls and says, one of your daughter's friends opened the hatch. And I said, okay, well, I got zip ties. She's like, okay, I see them. I'm like, well, just zip tie it shut. She's like, okay. That was the end of the conversation. So I'm home from Pittsburgh. That story I just told you was me just getting in my car, thinking it's zip tied. Well, it's not. She didn't do it. That's how it happened. So yeah, that's funny that you bring that up. And I don't want to talk about that level of fury. I don't even know where I was going with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
Easter. Let's go Easter.
Yeah, let's get back to Easter.
Did you cook
No.
for Easter?
Nope. We had a nice Whataburger breakfast. It was awesome.
What did you get?
A breakfast burger. I think
a burger?
Yeah, a breakfast burger. It was incredible.
Wait, from where?
Whataburger.
Oh, well, that's something. I mean, that's
Or some people down here say water burger. Did you go to Egbert's?
Did you hear that?
I didn't.
I did go to Egbert's.
I saw you on my way to Whataburger.
What's funny is the rest of the world, I don't know where the Egbert's are. I don't even know if I should tell this story. Not today, but Egbert's. Egbert's is a place that exists where we live. And it's a small chain. I don't know where all they're at in the United States. Probably the middle part of the country. But it's called Egbert's. This is a funny statement because today we said, hey, we're going to go to Egbert's, which turns out in the community we live in, it's actually a really awesome place.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's really good.
It's always packed, too.
Yeah, always, because it's really good. But I never wanted to go to Egbert's forever because it was called Egbert's. And I'm like, I'm not eating at that skank hole. There's no way I'm walking in skank hole Egbert's.
Yeah.
Not doing it. My daughter, who doesn't even know that I have these thoughts of this place. And by the way, it's good. So I would go to the one in our hometown. My daughter, we're like, hey, we're going to Egbert's. She's like, do we have to go? And I'm like, yeah, it's good because it is, right? But I didn't go my whole life because I thought it was not good.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, why do you not want to go? It's good. She's like, it's called Egbert's. She just said that today. So I was like proud of her, at least for coming up with that.
Yeah.
So we did go to Egbert's for our Easter
brunch, maybe?
Yeah, I think you call it brunch. Church started at 8. Okay, there's 2 services where I go, and the early service is the one where the older people are, and the music is traditional, and they have a woodwind section.
Oh wow! Wow!
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, listen, that's fine. I don't go to that service typically, and I'm not going to get into it on the podcast because I know there's people that listen.
Yep.
That probably just tells you what my thoughts are right there.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to go in depth.
Yep.
But the thing is I thought I had the regular Sunday school class. Every week, not Easter, every week, there's an early service and there's a late service. So that the late ones starts at like 10:45, I think. I thought I was going to class. So it turns out there was no class today for Easter. There's no, we call small groups. There was no small group. So when it was over at 9:30, we're just staring at each other. I'm like, so that's it? Like we just go home? Because the best part, well, turns out he could have went late because there was no small group. But the best part about going to early service, no offense, I think the preacher listens to this thing occasionally.
What's up, Pastor?
I think he does occasionally. At the early service, you have to
just flip off the camera.
No,
okay.
you have to. You got to be done because they got to go to Sunday, which means the older people maybe they are smarter than we are.
They are.
It's like, you know what? You can't stretch this one out to 12:15. We got class.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so he. You got it starts at 8:30. They start the music. It lasts like 15 minutes. Now it's like 45, but you still got the thing at the end of the thing. And they got the offering, so it's like, he's only going to talk 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all he can talk.
Yeah.
Those older people maybe were smart. There's a reason that they made it that long in life.
Yeah, then they're done and they're going to Egbert's afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, when there's not a line.
Yeah.
Because you can't get in this. It's not a super tiny town, but every restaurant's packed at that point. And you got to settle for Mazzio's Pizza. Mm-hmm. Let's burn down another sponsor. That place sucks.
Yeah, that place does suck. They have good ranch, though. Shout out to Mazzio's Ranch.
I hate Mazzio's.
So did you cook anything after Egbert's?
No, but I'm glad you brought that up. Remember last week I was here?
Yeah.
So I was at Layton's house, And
We're grilling some steaks.
yeah, yeah. And so he was like, so he was doing the leg work out there, the tough stuff.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Building fires.
Yeah. And Leighton's wife was inside, and I believe she said she was cooking potatoes. I'm talking about baked potatoes in the microwave. And there were instructions.
Yes.
You didn't just go buy a bag of russets. You bought individually wrapped in plastic, so it comes with instructions. And she said, the instructions say cook 1 potato for 6 to 8 minutes, and then if you have 2 potatoes, cook them for 12. Well, she said, I have 4 potatoes that I'm going to put in there all at once. How much time should I use? Like, what should I do? She asked you that, right?
Yes. And I was like, well, just put them in there for about 12 minutes and then, check them.
And she said, yeah, but if I put in all 4 at one time, if I put in all 4 potatoes, I'm hearing this conversation, right? Well, no, Leighton's having this, he's having this conversation himself in the kitchen, but he comes outside and tells me. So when she comes outside, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So she said, if I put 4 in at one time, won't all the heat just go to 2 of them in the microwave?
Yeah, she was afraid that 2 of them would cook because they needed to cook for 12 minutes, but the other 2 would remain raw.
But yeah, just sitting over on the side, just waiting to get their heat in.
Yeah, inside of the microwave.
So she said it, and I just stared at her like she had 3 heads.
Well, as soon as she asked, I said, I'm telling Lloyd. Like Lloyd was my dad or something. I said, I'm telling Lloyd. And I go out there. And so she's like jogging to catch me like, no, please don't tell him. But she was still genuinely confused. I guess how a microwave worked. I guess I just take that for granted that I understand how a microwave works.
So speaking of microwave cooking, I wish with all my heart that this was my story. It's not my story, but all of my friends worked at this place that I worked at. I just came after the fact. The place I used to work, it was called Wilbur's, is what it was called, but oil and gas place. But the Tulsa division, there were some Filipino guys that worked in the shop out there, like straight up from the Philippines. At lunch every day, which you can't even do this stuff anymore, but at lunch every day, they would bring a BB gun or a pellet gun to work. Right, you can't do that these
what
days.
The heck?
Yeah, and they would go out in the shop at lunchtime, and they would shoot pigeons out of the rafters. So they would then go, this is at lunchtime, they would then go defeather, is that right? Defeather?
I believe so.
Yeah, they go defeather the pigeons and, rip the guts out and put a raw bird in the microwave and cook it, and that's what they'd eat for lunch.
There's no way.
It's not, like I said, I would love to be able to tell you like the numerous times I watched it happen, but I heard that story from no less than 20 people who used to work in that shop, and they're like, yes, they did. So, yep, that's a fact. They would go, yeah, but the thing is, you're making that face like it's disgusting. That's the freshest bird in town.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. They're like, we all eat fresh bird. Am I really that gross? I eat fresh bird. Did you get that bird in the store? How long's that been dead?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
Them guys had it dialed in.
Pretty disgusting. We'll keep this on the animal track. So on Thursday, I'm at work, and I have a Vivint doorbell or whatever, security system. So anytime somebody comes up to my porch, it alerts my phone. So normally during the week, I make sure I see my daughter at the time that she should be there, So I get a doorbell notification, and I look at it, and I see her, but I also see her, 2 other friends, and then this random guy, and I couldn't make out who it was. So, because generally I just look at my phone, put it down, get back to work, whatever, because I only have like an hour left.
Please let it be Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No. So I open it up, and I'm like, who the heck is that? Well, it's the next door neighbor, the child.
The vampire?
And the father. No, not the vampire. So I'm like, I wonder why he's there. And so my grandmother stays with my daughter after school until one of us get home. So I'll fast forward through that part. my nanny's here. My daughter's not. So my nanny goes to the walking trail, like where they would normally walk. Well, there's no kids. So she's like internally freaking out because my daughter's not home yet. But while she's there, my daughter's home, but there's a group of people on the porch. So I'm like, well, that's strange. So I go, I can't really make out what they're saying, but eventually I see my nanny come back and they're all talking. Okay, cool. So I get a text from my nanny and it says, Peyton just got bit in the face by a dog.
What?
And I was like, what? Is she okay or what? So I guess they were walking home. My daughter was walking her friend to her house first and then was going to backtrack to our house. It's only 2 houses down. Well, her friend has a dog. It's a little yappy dog, like a little,
The ones we said that I don't like.
Yeah, you could punt across the field. Yes. Yeah. And she was holding it. Well, I guess she wanted to hold it. My daughter wanted to hold it as well because she's been over to her house a million times. She knows the dog. She knows the dog's name, yada, yada, yada. Well, I guess when the girl was handing it to my daughter, it just leaped out of her hand and just bit her right there on the lip.
Was it a puppy?
No, it's a dog. So I'll skip to the funny part of the story, which I think was funny. So the dad, he was very, very worried. There was a lot of blood, whatever. So I was told to call him. My wife was like, hey, what's up, Blake? I think he listens.
Blake Smith.
No, not Blake Smith.
I know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, anyways.
That's our mutual friend who has giant poodles.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So different Blake. So I call Blake and he's stressing out over the phone. He's like, oh my gosh. Well, at first he says, how are you doing? I say, good. How are you? And he goes, well, not very good. But at this point, I already know why he's not doing very good. So he tells me, my dog just bit your daughter in the face. And
go ahead.
And he's like, I'm so sorry, yada, yada, yada. So
did you say, control your dog?
Well, so he apologized to me like 3 times. I could tell he feels really bad. Well, in my head, I thought it was funny because I knew my daughter was okay at that point.
They've been working on that dog sicking people for
a
while.
Yeah, for sure. So in my head, I think it's funny. She's fine.
Did you say the Sue word?
So he says, I'm so sorry. So I said, well, I just want to let you know that we reject your apology. And this is over the phone. And I'm saying it like dead straight. I said, I want you to know that we reject your apology. I'm going to sue you and you should get served papers by tomorrow. And there was like 15 seconds of just dead silence. And he goes, what'd you say? So I repeated it. And he was like, oh, bro. Oh, okay. Oh, and he just kept fumbling, and I go, I'm just messing with you. And he didn't like really laugh, and so then I kind of felt bad because he was like genuinely like he was being genuine.
Have you talked to him since?
Yeah. So I talked to him the following day, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. And he was, oh no, I do that to people all the time. I had a good one coming to me, and he was like, you got me good.
Yeah, because your dog's an animal. Yeah, your dog's a filthy animal.
Yeah.
That
was like one of the highlights of my week.
I'm gonna tell this. I told this Dana story. I didn't ever say her name.
Well, you didn't say her name, but shout out to cousin Dana.
Well, anyway, I watched this happen when I was a kid. Now listen, to this. I'm gonna bust the whole family.
Let's do it.
Well, she used to live over by the park. When I was a kid, I lived close to this park. So she lived closer to the park. And I was walking to the park, and I saw her running back and forth in her backyard. She'd done it several times. Her neighbor had a dog. I don't remember what kind of dog it was. Her neighbor had a dog on the leash. And she would run. She wasn't like totally outside of where the leash was at, but she'd kind of run for her fun, she would run where the dog could actually get her, but she was still on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. And that dog was like really trying to bite her. Like what? They weren't playing.
Yeah.
But she was doing it, thinking it was funny, and she was laughing. She was going, I was watching it happen. And I did not see the part I'm about to tell you because I was walking to the park.
Yeah.
I stopped for a second. She was laughing. She was showing me what she was doing. I'm like, yeah, well.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, so I go to the park. Well, I went and played basketball. I get home. And then we get a call from my aunt I guess she called my dad. She said, Dana got bit by a dog. She got attacked by a dog. And I told Dad, I'm like, what? That she got attacked by a dog? I'm like, yeah, she was taunting the dog. She was running, like, she kept running where he could get her, but he was further away.
She was literally playing chicken with the dog.
Yeah, that's what she was doing. But the dog caught her, because she must not have been fleet of foot. And it bit her, I don't know, a couple times. And I told Dad that. And Dad calls back. He's like, well, Lloyd said, yeah, he saw Dana playing with the dog. Because she called my dad saying, Lloyd saw it. Lloyd was there.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I didn't see the dog do that. I was playing basketball. But I told Dad what she was doing. And he calls my aunt, and she's mad about it. She's like mad about it in real life. She's like, she was not doing that. So now you're making me out to be an idiot. I'm just going to play basketball. You're making me out to be an idiot because Dana was running back and forth trying to taunt the dog.
Yeah, you sick the dog on her or something?
Like it's my fault. So I'm like, that didn't happen. Like she was taunting the dog the whole time. She must have gotten within the... I don't even know,
the biting parameter.
I just stalled out because I was going to say she must have got within earshot. That didn't make any sense, but like, yeah, she probably got in his path. Mm. And, he caught her.
She paid for it.
Yeah. And then she was acting like they were going to sue him. She was mad at me. My aunt was mad at me because I'm like, she was trying she was taunting the dog. And I wouldn't come off of it.
Yeah.
And I guess, I would have been important to this lawsuit, I'm assuming. And so she got mad at me.
You were the key witness in this whole story.
Yeah, that I wouldn't come off it. I'm like, I'm not... That's what she was doing. I thought she was being stupid when she was doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, sorry.
Have you ever got attacked by a dog?
So I guess I must have lost my my cousin's $5,000 that day.
Screwed them out of some money.
Have I got attacked by a dog? Oh, okay. Well, since we're talking about that. One time, and this is a weird story. I didn't fear any dog. None of them. I did have a neighbor when he was a kid that had a pit bull named Blue, and Blue was an evil dog.
Yeah.
So he had, this is probably like cruelty now, but Blue, it's like Blue had a chain. Each link probably weighed 5 pounds.
Goodness.
That dog would kill you. Like he would pull his, he had that big link. He back up and ripped the steak out of the ground. The dog was massive and he was strong. So that dog probably would have scared me. I knew better. But I'm just saying in general, I wasn't scared of dogs. I would pet them all. I don't care. I didn't look at any signs, ears slicked back or tail between them. I didn't care. I would pet every dog ever. I was in college, and my friend had a Jack Russell Terrier. And I walked in his house, his apartment, and this dog was acting like it was going to kill me. But it was a Jack Russell Terrier. It wasn't that big. Yeah. And I'm not scared of dogs at all. And so I'm like jumping at it, because it won't stop. And he's not making it stop either. And like I'm getting kind of annoyed by it, but I'm like, dog, get this little dog out of here. So I jumped at it a couple times, and maybe that third time that I would step, like step towards it, and it would back up. Well, that time it took a step back, but not because it was scared. It just needed some traction.
Yeah.
And it jumped and lunged forward and bit my hand. Yeah. And I'm like, it made me mad. I wanted to kill the dog. And I didn't even touch it, but I was like mad. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Like Drew Blood got a scar. Just showed Leighton. You can't see it. I still got a scar to this day because of that dog. Well, I guess I got punked by the dog because from that day forward, a tiny dog made me scared of, no, I'm not scared of dogs.
Scared of dogs.
I'm not scared of dogs, but that tiny dog made me think like, those bigger dogs will eat my hand off.
Yeah. I grew up with the Jack Russell, and it was tiny, and that thing would.
I got punked by a Jack Russell Terrier.
No, they were. He wasn't ever mean to me, but when my brother was born, that dog. Sorry, Tristan, if you ever listen to this, that dog hated my brother but loved me. As it got older, I think he lived till he was 17. The dog. Anytime, because then it stayed with my grandma at that point. Anytime mail person, UPS, FedEx, any of those people would come, he would want to rip their head off. And that dog was a foot tall and probably 3 feet long.
Well, I got punked by a similar dog in my life, so it worked, I guess. Yeah, I about bit my hand off. Just because I know there's a weekly listener, and it's not even a dog story. Did I watch their dogs one time, or did I help watch their dog? I think I helped. I don't think the dogs were at my house. I just helped feed them every now. And we got a friend like Sarah listens to this show.
What's up, Sarah?
Yeah, she has a dog doesn't have eyelashes or eyebrows.
What?
Yeah, what's that disease that humans have where they don't have which would be weird because humans don't have any hair.
Alopecia.
Yeah, this dog's got facial hair alopecia. I mean, but it has fur. But it has no eyelashes or eyebrows. It just
How
looks
weird.
And I call them Ren and Stimpy because Ren and Stimpy on that show didn't want to. I don't feel like they had eyelashes or eyebrows or something. Yeah, that dog. It's a weird dog when it looks at you. I try not to look at it. I don't want it to stare me in the eyes too long. Because it's like what a prevert dog. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I don't want.
How weird.
I want nothing. It's a nice dog. It's just real hyperactive, but it's probably because he can't sleep. It's like. I don't know. Maybe his eyelids are too small to cover the whole eyes. Maybe that's why the hair doesn't grow.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, weird thing. All right. Well, I guess we'll get off. Oh, were you going to bring up? Did somebody have a comment or something?
Oh yeah. So in closing.
By the way, and let me.
Yeah.
While you're finding it, I'll say this. So we were excited that somebody commented on our what is it? Say it.
Speakpipe.com/life&times.
All right, yeah, on that. So somebody commented, but just on a video, but we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were like bragging him up, even though he was being negative. We were bragging, like, at least he commented. Nobody else commented.
Oh, the dude that said that one of the shorts
this is cringe,
that we put out.
he
said this is cringe.
Yeah, and so I went back this week. I didn't tell late, and I just went in, and I think this is an all-time classic, just for anything. It works for anything.
Yeah.
And I just typed in your mama's cringe. And I mean, he probably hasn't responded back. I never will, but I think that's probably going to be my response for every negative comment, no matter what it says.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I sat at the computer looking at this comment, trying to figure out what I could possibly say in response. Here it is. This is just a random shorts video. So if you guys don't know, a shorts video is just like a TikTok, but it's on YouTube.
I haven't heard this one.
And I just clip up some of the funnier segments and put them out. So this was on one of those videos. It says, this guy's name is Kanan J.
Yeah, quality name.
Bro, imagine inside your head it's just a fish bowl with a bunch of colorful fish. Nemo?
That's his comment?
That's his comment.
What was in reference to? What was the video?
The video was one of the shorts. I mean, it was a funny video about nothing that had to do with a head, fish, or Nemo.
See, like that? Because I don't feel like it was mouthy, or if it was, what do I say? Your mom's a Nemo.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't negative, but it's like, I don't know. I think I'm going to pray for that guy tonight.
Yeah, Nemo's a real go-to comment for me. Nemo. Your mom's a real go-to comment for me. Not your mom. I mean, could be.
Shout out to Amber.
Okay, Amber. His mom. What did she say her name is? But it's not. There's no way.
Ambra.
Oh, she says her name's Ambra. That's made up.
Yeah.
She's trying to sound exotic.
That's her stage name?
Her name's Amber. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll get off here. Listen, love everybody. Thanks for listening. Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. He's not there yet. Hopefully they do that before he passes away. Pete, to be honest, I'm just being real here. If you ever hear this, you're gonna have to start eating better because it may take a little time. Let's start eating better, Pete. Anyway, yeah. Good.
I'm not saying Dwayne Wade because he
just said it again.
But you know what I will say? You know what I will say? Pay Lamar.
Who?
Lamar
who?
Lamar Jackson. Who do you think I'm talking about? Lamar Odom?
Who's Lamar Jackson?
The Ravens quarterback?
Why are you paying him? He's hurt all the time.
No, pay him.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's right. Pay him all the money. He's hurt all the time.
The Colts need to get him.
Anyway, love everybody.
Redo that.
No, which part?
Cut my part out.
Lamar?
Yeah, where were you? What were you saying?
I don't know. Love everybody.
Pete Rose.
Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Are we cutting that?
I'm cutting that.
Which part?
Hold on.
Because you wanted to pay a guy that sucks and he's hurt all the time?
No, I'll put it in there. I stand by it.
Don't stand by it. He's terrible.
I'll double down on it. He's not terrible. He's the only reason why that team's been relevant for years.
He hadn't been in the league for years.
5 years?
Yeah, is that years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, love everybody. I'm not editing that out.
Love
Peace
everybody.
out.
Don't edit it out.
Nope.
That way people can hear the stupidity.
Yes. Or the smartness. See you next week, guys.
Okay, love everybody.